me a left sickness, danger, folly. Quick to transgress, playing with fire continually. The retinal scans as time advance, so that's technology.
So we say today, once again, my brothers and sisters, we say peace and blessings by the grace and mercy of the Almighty Father. And it's a beautiful thing to receive the Almighty Father's grace and His mercy inside these dark tribulation times. And we want to talk about something that you are already acquainted with. We want to talk about wisdom and knowledge, which shall be the stability of that times, in these critical dark times that we're living in. There's definitely a need of a change of mind. What I'm saying to you here today is nothing that you haven't heard before. But sometimes it's good for us to re-evaluate, or rather re-evaluate the instructions of importance in these critical dark times, which will be definitely needed. Now what I'm saying to you here today is nothing that most of y'all don't already know. But there's a time to keep quiet. You know, there's a time to shut up sometime. Just like it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 7. There's a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silent, and there's a time to speak. You see, what we're dealing with here today is wisdom. Okay, what we're talking about today is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6, when it states how wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Just like it states in Proverbs chapter 2, verse 11, discretion. What is discretion? Knowing when to talk, when not to talk. Okay, discretion teaches you to make the right, wise decision. This is not about ego or pride or arrogancy. All that's going to cause people to get killed before their time. This is about intelligence and wise counsel. As the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 6 states, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. You see, that's what the intelligence in the scriptures is talking about. Okay, giving us wise counsel and wise understanding and wise instructions to apply to our life in these dangerous times. It's not about using the scriptures to go to war against your brother. All that's going to be unprofitable in a moment of most. That's not what the intelligence in the scriptures is talking about. For us that's dealing with this level of higher understanding, that's all going to be unprofitable in these dark days. Like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 31, verse 15. Judge of thy neighbor by thyself, and be discreet in every point. We got to think before we speak. We got to think before we react in these tribulation, dangerous times. And the times is going to get more evil, as many of y'all already know. You see what's going on all over the world. You see what's going on in Afghanistan, Pakistan. You see what's going on in Greece. You got situations like this. There's a report for April the 3rd, 2011, that speaks about a starving kid eating a cockroach. That's how bad it's getting. You can look this information up for yourself. You got famine, okay, intensifying on this earth. You got wars, okay, excelling on this earth. What frame of mind we need to be in, considering everything that's happened in Greece, in London, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in the Gaza Strip, in Dubai, in Ireland. Also, there's this constant talk of a meteorite hitting this earth. In the book of Revelation, chapter 8, verse 10 and 11, speaks on this matter. Okay? It classifies the meteorite as wormwood. Now, for those that don't understand, wormwood is really a bitter herb, but we know Revelation chapter 8, verse 10 and 11 is not talking about a bitter herb. This is an allegory. The same way we speak in ebonics and metaphors. Well, that's the same way the Creator speaks. And that's what we got, okay, this metaphor, ebonic way of expressing ourselves from. So Revelation 8 and 11, to go right to the point, it says, and the name of the star is called wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, meaning polluted. And many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Now that's exactly what a meteorite will do with the gases inside the meteorite when it hits the water. And those gases go in the ocean water and it pollutes the water. So there's some serious things coming down on this earth. So what frame of mind we need to be in? Isaiah 33 verse 6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And it's time for a man to use the scriptures to war against his brother as if that's going to profit us. That's total insanity. That's total madness. But the scripture said that was going to happen. Thessalonians spoke about these issues. Unless they come a falling away first. That's a representation of falling away from the true instructions of the scriptures. But for us that's dealing with the illumination of understanding, we're not to be that way. Okay? Proverbs chapter 2 and 11. Discretion shall preserve thee. Understanding shall keep thee. You see, this is a life and death matter. Like it says in the book of Proverbs chapter 4, verse 13. Take fast of instructions. That's what the scriptures is dealing with. Instructions. Instructions how to survive. Instructions how to be wise. Instructions how to make the right decision that won't jam you up. Instructions of what to eat and not to eat so you won't get colon cancer, sugar diabetes, and a heart attack out here. Because there's a war being waged against us on all levels. So we got to step it up in wisdom and understanding. Isaiah 33 verse 6, Proverbs chapter 4 verse 13. Take fast hold of instructions. Let her not go. Why? Keep her, for she is thy life. That's how serious this is, man. You see, my brothers and sisters, this whole world is falling apart. Your very own immediate family is going to turn on you. A lot of your so-called wives going to turn on you. A lot of your so-called husbands going to turn on you. You're going to see Satan Lucifer horns bust out of people's heads like a rhinoceros rhino. Because a lot of people down here is false and fake and phony. A lot of your preachers are evil and wicked. You need to get away from them. They the devil. They working for Satan. They don't care about you. They're going to abandon you. We're telling you before it's time. And we're coming at that time. Tribulation is knocking at the door. Don't be deceived because a man can quote 1,000 scriptures. Okay? The scripture says, know the truth and the truth shall set you free. You see, a lot of men and women that read that same Bible is the very St. John 8:44 devil. They're faking the funk. They're deceiving you. Galatians chapter 2, okay, verse 4 informs us who these wicked men are. It don't make a difference. The Most High is not respect a person. The Most High is talking about all of us, whether we in the church, whether we out the church, whether we call ourselves Rastafari, whether we call ourselves Christians, whether we call ourselves Muslims, or whether we identify ourselves as Israelites. Whether it's your wicked wife or your wicked husband, or your wicked uncle or your wicked cousins, all the other people of the other nation. The Most High is covering all grounds, like it says in Galatians chapter 2, verse 4. And that because of false brethren. You got a lot of false brethren reading this Bible here today. They're not about the brotherly love. They're not about the sisterly love. They're not about the love and affection of their nation. They could care less whether you live or die. Okay, it's not just the fake preachers. It's talking about all of us. You got a lot of snakes out here. And they're going to reveal their snakeism in these last days and time. Tribulation, situation, and circumstances prove what a man and woman is really made of. The scripture says, prove a friend before you give him credit. And they are enemies against Matthew 9, chapter 35 and 36, when it speaks about how the King of Kings, how he saw the multitude, and he was moved with compassion on them. So you got to separate yourself, okay, from your enemies. You got to know who is who. It don't make a difference if a man can quote 1,000 scriptures. You see, that's not going to mean nothing in this time if we're not under the Most High divine protection and living accordingly to his divine instructions. Such as Romans chapter 12, verse 10. The Most High told us to be kindly affection to one another, not to be enemies against each other, with brotherly love and honor. So a man that's not following that protocol of instruction, that's a dead man. That's a dead woman. Why? Psalms chapter 9, verse 7. But the Almighty Father shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment. Because the Almighty Father is very angry and upset. He don't care if you know your Israelite nationality. If you wicked, and if you evil, and if you're doing evil things against your brother, okay, guess what? It's a great possibility that a lot of us is going to get caught up in the Most High's bloodbath wrath of vengeance for being wicked. But these are the choice people, okay, that the Most High want us to deal with. These are the type of people that we supposed to accompany ourselves with. For those that are seeking truth and understanding. This ain't nothing personal. It's all spiritual. Romans the 12th chapter and the 16th verse. And it states this, my brother. Be ye of the same mind. What mindset is that? The mindset of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 8. Like the King of Kings told the 12 disciples. And ye are brethren. That's the mindset we're supposed to be in. So this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be connecting with brothers that's in that brethren frame of mind. We're supposed to be connecting with sisters that's in that sisterin state of mind. Like it says in Romans chapter 12, 16. This is the time of decision. This is the time of separation. Romans chapter 12, 16. Be of the same mind, one towards another. Same way I treat you is the way I want you to treat me. That's what the Most High is talking about. Be of the same mind, one towards another. Mind not high things, such as all this fathead high-mindedness. Man acting like this is their program and acting as if they're the creator of the universe. But the Most High told us, but condescend to men of low estate. And condescend to men of low estate. That's the type of men and women that the Most High is telling us to unite with in these days and times. You see? So it's time to make peace with your brothers and your sisters for those that can receive these words. Okay? It's not time to be high-minded and arrogant. Those men and women are going to find out the hard way. The Most High loves the humble. The Most High is the enemy against the proud. It's just a matter of time before the Most High strike them down if they don't change. And you see the whole world is falling apart. This is the worst time to be high-minded and arrogant, considering everything. You have nothing but a nuclear explosion exploding all over the world. This is the Most High program, and these are his instructions. Okay? And there's consequences for disobedience. A man or woman that's seeking to make enemies with his brother and his sister, there's some hard knocks coming their way. Okay? Like it says in 2 Peter 3 and 11. Seeing then all these things shall be dissolved. Everything that we see one day is going to be evaporated. It's going to be dissolved. And a lot of us is going to be dissolved, okay, with these big buildings and everything else that the Most High is against. So the Most High said, a man of understanding would take heed to this counsel. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved. What manner of person ought ye to be? Okay? What manner of person I'm supposed to be? What manner of person you supposed to be? What frame of mind we supposed to be in? Are we supposed to be arrogant, high-minded? Are we supposed to be slandering each other's names? Are we supposed to be create enemies, discord, and strife? No. Seeing then that all these things should be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be? Zephaniah 2 and 1 is the person that we need to be. Gather ourselves together, O nation not desire. You don't even hear that scripture anymore. Well, this is what the Most High is communicating to us that got sense, okay, in the midst of all this tribulation, okay, that's going to escalate. Okay, like it says in 2 Peter 3 and 11, seeing then all these things shall be dissolved. Everything is going to be dissolved one day, including a lot of us that's wicked. So it says, what manner of person ought ye to be? We ought to be humble. We should be working out our differences. We don't got too much time to be playing these games because the Most High is going to crack the whip. You see what he's doing, okay, with the floods and the hurricanes. That's a sign. Big Father's upset. He's angry. And he's sick and tired of seeing men using the scriptures, okay, to create enemies with each other. And the Most High is going to intervene. And the Most High is going to rock our knot. The Most High is going to smash a lot of us out of existence if we don't change our ways. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Seeing then all these things shall be dissolved. What manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation, not cursing each other out and using the Bible at the same time? The Most High said we're supposed to be in holy conversation. We're supposed to be building each other up. We're supposed to be comforting each other. We're supposed to be affectionate to each other. This is a true understanding coming from the heavens. What is man talking about with all this fathead arrogancy? 666. That's what he's talking about. These are not the true servants of the Most High. These are the servants of Satan. Any man that sows discord and strife and contention with the word of the Almighty Father is an enemy. Is an enemy of the faith. Enemy of the instructions. This is not the way we're supposed to be operating. Okay? So the Most High said, Seeing all these things will be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Creator, wherein the heavens being on fire. That's talking about this world. But a lot of us, we're going to be on fire as well as with the world that do not humble ourselves and change our ways. Wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved. Everything going to be dissolved, including a lot of people. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Why the elements going to melt with fervent heat? Because the Most High is upset. He's displeased. They've been disrespecting him for over 1,000 years. So we want to avoid the Most High's judgment. And how do we avoid the Most High judgment? Make peace with your brother. Make peace with your sister. Respect each other. Care about each other. Stop using each other for those that seeking salvation. Like it says in the book of 2 Ezra chapter 7, verse 21. For the Most High have given straight commandments, instruction, to such as came, what they should do to live. How are we supposed to live in these days and time? We're not supposed to live like enemies. We're not supposed to live like idiots. We're not supposed to live like whores, dogs, and demons. We're not supposed to be worshiping no man. We're not supposed to be looking up to no man. We're supposed to be looking up to the Almighty Father. We're supposed to be making friends instead of enemies. We're supposed to be caring about each other. We're not supposed to only just be quoting scriptures. We're supposed to be living accordingly to these instructions. 2 Ezra 7, verse 21. For the Almighty Father have given straight commandments to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. So we want to live accordingly to these instructions to avoid the Most High's punishment. Because the Most High is going to punish a hell of a lot of people. And I pray that you're not one of those persons as well as myself. Because a lot of people down here, the majority of the people on this earth is the Most High enemies. But we're not to be that way. We're to be accordingly to his instructions. This is the time to put aside your differences. We don't have too much time. Don't follow the arrogant, high-minded men. The Most High said, blessed are the peacemaker. So the Most High wants us to be at peace with each other. Like I said before, you see what's going on internationally for those that are paying attention. Just yelling the white man's the devil all day, that's going to be unprofitable. Furthermore, that's not the way the true disciples taught. That is not the education of wisdom for our preservation in these evil times. Look at what's going on in Thailand. The villages are flooded out. Look at what's going on in Greece. Greece is like one big fat volcano, okay, waiting to explode. You got devils in all races. You got devils of your own people. You got demonic, satanic devil women of our race that's just here to make man fall. You got demonic, satanic devil men of our own race that's here just to make a man fall. So this is part of the education that we got to be aware of. But it's about taking on the understanding of the Proverbs, the 6th chapter, and the 6th verse. Okay, we're coming into a time of survival. Some of you already know this already. What I'm saying is nothing new. So you got to change your mindset. We got to change our way of thinking. Okay? We got to raise our consciousness to a higher level of understanding. Get away from people that like to use the Bible to fight and strive and conflict all day and all night. It's not about that, man. It's about taking on the wisdom and understanding that the ants use. Look how the ants operate. Look how they function. Look how they feel about their own species of kind. They deal with self-preservation of their kind, and they work together like a unit. We know a lot of people ain't going to listen to this or don't really care about this message, but this is for those that do care, because most of us could care less. But for the little that do care, love your brother, love your sister, love the Creator. His instructions is divine. We're living in the times of Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 on down. Go to the ant. Yeah, observe the ant. Analyze the little ant, one of the tiniest species in the creation of the Most High, but very wise in intelligence. A lot of ants got more sense than a lot of us here today in this 21st century. So go to the ant, thou sluggard. A lot of us are sluggard in our minds. A lot of us need to resurrect, okay, in the right understanding, because a lot of us got the wrong understanding. This is not about using the Bible to beat people down. That's the ways of fools. That's not wisdom. That's not understanding that's going to stabilize us in these last days and time. This is not what the Most High is talking about for those that can understand. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. Yeah, the ant is very wise. You see, the ant is very intelligent. The ant is one of the Most High's smallest intelligent creation that deals with a lot of wisdom. So this is the understanding that we need in these times. We don't need no buffoonio understanding. We don't need no conflicting understanding. We need wisdom and knowledge, which shall be the stability of our times. Things that's going to benefit us. Things that's going to benefit you and me. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 is the example. Go to the ant. Yeah, observe the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. Because the ant is dealing with pure wisdom. 7th verse. Which having no guide. We're supposed to be above the ants, but right now the ants is more intelligent than us. But we got to raise our standards. And we don't have too much time. Which have no guide, nor overseer, talking about the ant, or a ruler. The ant doesn't have a ruler. 8th verse. But this ant provide her meat in the summer, and gather her food in the harvest. You see? So that's the wisdom. That's the understanding that the Most High gave us when he said, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Why? Because the prophecy, okay, in Ezra chapter 7:22 is giving us heads up, okay, before we enter into this dimension. So we're in the beginning stage of this prophecy in 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. What are these sown places? This is talking about the farmland. This is talking about the crops. Why does it say suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown? Why? Because there's a curse, okay, on this land for not respecting the Most High and respecting the natural laws of the land. And it's called famine. Okay? Famine is coming on this land. It's coming on this earth. This is all written. And this is taking place right now in Kenya, Somalia, and many other places. Okay? Some of the reservoirs are drying up. That's going to affect the food market. So what frame of mind we supposed to be in? And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses. What is the storehouses? That's talking about the grocery store. What are we going to do if we wake up tomorrow and there's no more food in the grocery store? This is something we need to think about. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. So to make an enemy with your brothers or your sisters in these times, that's totally idiotic. It's totally insane. It's totally satanic. And it's totally wicked for those that are doing such things. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. We're talking to people of wisdom and understanding and people that care and people that's concerned about the issue of the matter of the Almighty Father's program and his prophecies. We don't care what people don't believe in. People are going to learn the hard way. Just like I always say, just like all those past empires learned the hard way. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouse shall suddenly be found empty. That's referring to the grocery store. That's referring to the food market. So for Ray Higgins, okay, and many more, and Phil Valentine and many more to say that this is not valid, this is describing what is coming up in the earth here today, and the process has already begun. Okay, a lot of people is going to be deceived and misled that are looking up to man because they're not giving them the right counsel of instructions. Okay, so we're reading 2nd Ezra chapter 7:23, as well as these fake preachers on the pulpit. They're leading the people to Satan, to bow down to Satan. That's what all these fake preachers are doing in these mega churches. 2nd Ezra 7:23. And the trumpet shall give a sound. What's the trumpet? The trumpet is the alarm. What is the alarm? All of the outbreak of tribulation and oppression that's exploding on this earth. You got 90% of the people not working. You got the people that's stuck with a college tuition and they're homeless and they don't got no job. This is the alarm of the trumpet. You got catastrophic signs, catastrophic reports that the scriptures speak about that's going to come up against this place because of all the evil injustice. So we got to be aware of these things. And the trumpet shall give a sound. Okay, like the protests that's on Wall Street. Like the protests in Oklahoma. All these are signs to restructure your mind and prepare ourselves, including myself as well. This is some serious thing coming down on planet Earth. Like it states in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts, which represents the angels, saying, a measure of wheat for a penny. That represents you're going to have to eat your food with measurement. Okay? This is the prophecy that's coming on this earth. And 3 measures of barley for a penny. See? And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. This is all dealing with food, survival, famine. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra. Okay? Chapter 7, okay, verse 23. And the trumpet shall give an alarm. What is that alarm? Put aside your differences. Stop being arrogant. This is not the time to be living like Captain Idiot. Okay? This is the time to gain wisdom and understanding and observe and understand what the intelligence in the scriptures is communicating to us. Which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. A lot of us going to be shook. A lot of people going to be committing suicide. You're going to see the escalation of suicide and the escalation of taking drugs within this oppression that's going to escalate. Okay? But the Most High is giving us heads up before our time, before its time. And he's giving us wise counsel of instruction to restructure our mind in these instructions that we're presenting to you here today. And everything that we're reading is being manifested on this earth here today. So let's go back to 2nd Ezra, okay, chapter 7, verse 23. And the trumpet shall give a sound which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Just like it says in Luke chapter 21, 25. Men heart failing for the sight of those things that are coming on planet Earth. You're talking about the polar caps are melting down constantly. You're talking about the earth is shifting off its axis. Okay? You're talking about meteorites. They're talking about shooting stars. They're talking about all kind of cosmic disturbances. You're talking about hail, rainstorms coming down on this earth. Like somebody throwing a whole bunch of marbles out the sky on our heads. And if you're not under the Most High's protection, as well as myself, okay, it's going to be good riddance. This whole thing is spiritual. It's beyond the physical. Okay? Psalms 34:7 said, those that fear the Most High, 7 angels shall encamp around them and deliver them from death. Ain't nothing but death on this earth. Ain't nothing but hell coming on this earth. These are the repercussions for disobedience. You can't turn back the hands of time. This is not something like a little cut where you can put a little peroxide and a little band-aid or wrap it up with an ace band and everything gonna be all right. This thing is too technical. It's too complicated. Just what has been done to the earth alone is gonna cause a lot of detrimental repercussion. But like it states in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 7, okay, verse 17 in the Apocrypha. Humble thy soul greatly. Why? For the vengeance of the ungodly is fire and worms. You see? And that's what's coming upon the head of the ungodly. So this is the wrong time to be ungodly. And this is definitely not the time, okay, to be getting a simple woman pregnant. And this is definitely not the time for a woman to be getting impregnated by a simple man. Like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, okay, chapter 7, verse 26. Hast thou a wife after thy mind, forsake her not. But give not thyself over to a light woman. We're adults. And this is what this is talking about. We're to be aware of all these things. Because it's a setup. A lot of things is set up for our demise. Okay? Because Matthew chapter 24 is what's creeping up. Okay? In the 7th verse. Okay? On this earth here today. For nations shall rise against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms. And there shall be famine and pestilence. A lot of babies going to be starving. Just like some of the babies in Somalia. So like it says in Matthew chapter 7. Okay, verse 19. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Even though that's talking about 70 AD, when Jerusalem was besieged. Okay, when you're having famine, and when you're having shortage of food, there's starvation. And the examples are giving, okay, in Somalia, in Kenya, in Ethiopia. So this is the instructions that Isaiah 33:6 is talking about, of thy times. Okay? You can't choose a woman because she got a nice round apple on her backside. That ain't gonna mean nothing. See, we're adults. We're not here to put nobody down, but it is what it is. Okay? You got wicked men and wicked women that look just like me and you and the other races. So we got to get into the right mindset. Okay? You're not in company with everybody. Okay? This is how serious this is. This is no joke. This is no game. This is nothing to play with. And these are the instructions that the Most High left for us to follow. And I'm going to repeat it once again. Most of your so-called pastors, your so-called fake prophets, your so-called preachers in these mega churches on the pulpit, they are the devil. They're Satan. They're wicked. And they're setting the people up for a fall. And they were not sent by the Creator. They're Satan's lieutenant in disguise, using the Bible as a mask, perpetrating a fraud. Okay? The proof is in the pudding. Tribulation times is going to prove these things. They're not informing you on these matters. They're giving you some hickory-dickory-dock. The mouse ran up the clock. Fake, sissified, false, satanic doctrines. They're nothing but demons. All they care about is money and cash. They don't care about the people. They don't talk the right talk. They're deceiving the people. Like it says in 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 24, and it states this. At that time, what time? Tribulation time, shall friends fight one against another, like enemies. And the earth shall stand in fear for those that dwell therein. We're telling you what's coming before its time. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, talking about the waters. And in 3 hours they shall not run. You're going to have people going to war for water. That's how serious this is, man. There's no time for simplicity. Okay, all the signs are around us. You see? This is what we're dealing with. This is what's knocking at the door. The illusion is going to be over real soon. You see? So the Most High is giving us advice and counsel. Okay, how to behave, how to think, how to restructure our minds. Like it says in 2nd Ezra, okay, chapter 16, verse 40. O my people, this is the instructions from the heavens. O my people, hear my words. We're reading some of those words right now. Make you ready to the battle for preservation, the battle to survive, the battle to maintain your sanity. Because they're trying to turn as many people as possible into worshiping the invisible demon world. Okay? O my people, hear my words. Make you ready to the battle. Because there's a battle for the soul. What this is all about is to make as many people sell a soul as possible. Okay? It's to make the people to turn an enemy against the Creator. Deceive the people. Setting the people up so they can receive this punishment which many couldn't even imagine, which most people's mind has been so psyched out, they think this is some type of myth. Yeah, there are invisible demons that are controlling this world here today, just like the old empire. And there's no loss for them because they have an expiration date. That's what all this lewdness and nudeness and immorality is about. So we're in that time. This is part of that battle. So the Most High is giving us information to strengthen our spirit so we won't be consumed by all this vampire evil. 2nd Ezra 16 and 40. O my people, hear my words. Make you ready to the battle. In those evils, be even as pilgrims. A pilgrim is like a gypsy. We can't be attached to anything in this world. This is the mindset that we have to readjust ourselves to. Be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away. Because you might have to migrate. You might have to move. You might have to relocate because certain situations and circumstances. And he that buyeth have one that will lose. That's why it says in Ecclesiasticus, it's a time to throw away and it's a time to embrace. So we're going to leave you, brothers and sisters, on these 3 tokens. Ecclesiasticus 25 and 1. And 3 things that was beautified, stood up, beautiful, both before the Creator. And men, the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, and man and wife that agree together. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 1. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy. This is what the Most High is telling us. And we're going to end, okay, with Baruch, the 3rd chapter. Okay, pertaining to wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. Proverbs chapter 2, verse 11. Discretion shall preserve thee. And this is the prayer that we should be communicating to the Almighty Father. The Native American Indians prayed to the Creator. The Blackfoot, the Cherokees, okay, Harriet Tubman, all of them had a communication, okay, relationship with the Creator of the universe. Okay, forget about what the foolish man is saying. The foolish man gonna learn the hard way with his spook God lies. Baruch chapter 3 verse 8. Almighty Father, Creator of Israel, the soul is anguished. A lot of our brothers and sisters are suffering. Some worse than others right now. The soul is anguished. The troubled spirit crieth unto thee. Hear, O Creator, and have mercy, for thou art merciful, and have pity upon us, because we have sinned before thee. For thou endurest forever, and we perish utterly. Almighty Father, the power of Israel, hear now the prayers of the dead Israelites and of their children, which have sinned before thee, and not hearken unto the voice of thee, Creator. And that's what we should be saying to the Father, for him to hear our prayers. Have mercy on us. Help us out in these times. Give us strength. Help us not to be evil. If we're proud and arrogant, ask the Most High to help you overcome that arrogant demon spirit, because that's a demon. That's an ancient demon. That's all that is. That's an ancient, invisible, satanic spirit. So this is where we're at. This is the condition of the battle. This is what we're dealing with. Survival. Preservation. And you can't do this alone. Without the Most High power on your side, you are doomed. So make peace with your brother. Make peace with your sister. Come together. Reason. Strategize. Meet face to face. Increase the love. If you have a brother and sister that you can get along with, increase that relationship. Most of the people on this earth is your enemy. Just like it says in 1 John, the 5th chapter, in the 19th verse. It explains the mindset of the people on this earth in majority. It says the whole world lieth in wickedness. We've been through a lot of different things as a nation. It's very stupid for me to be hating you, okay, and going out of my way to make an enemy with you. For that is the mindset of a fool, like it states in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 22, verse 14. What is heavier than lead, and what is the name thereof but a fool? Like it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, okay, verse 3 in the Apocrypha. Add no more trouble to a heart that is vexed, and defer not to give to him that is in need. You see? This is what we're supposed to be doing. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away the face from a poor man. So I'm a poor man just like you. So this is where we at. So we're going to conclude, finally, in this sermon, Isaiah 33, verse 6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. This is what makes the Most High happy, when you and I get along, when you and I respect each other. So the Most High can open up our understanding, okay, and give us wisdom, how to survive in these times, and meet us inside our thoughts with intelligence, and give us discretion to make the right decision, so we won't make all these bad decisions like the majority that really just don't care. So I said, peace and blessings. Endure hardness as a good soldier. Love your brothers. Love your sisters. Put aside your differences. Knowing the time, it is high time to wake out of sleep. For the night is far spent. The day is at hand. Make no provision to the flesh to fulfill the lust of the flesh. And let us remember, I'm going to repeat it one more time. Isaiah 33 and 6. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. Using the right wisdom and the right knowledge of the Creator, that's what's going to stabilize us, okay, and preserve us in these critical times.
Trigger tsunami and left sickness, danger folly. Quick to transgress, playing with fire continually. The retinal scans as time advance, so that's technology. Where they stop, only one knows the Almighty. Some serial killers, company, woman, laboratory. Eugenics project, side effect, torment the baby. Medicinal bag of chips, we feed the greedy dummy. Marionette of the money power hungry. Humanity been trodden in place already.